Hey, I thought I was going to do an all-nighter, and then I pass out. Don't try to do all-nighters. Doesn't work. Hi, my name's Sebastian. This is Vision Denial and the Road to MSI, where I watch every region's playoff series for those who are participating in MSI. Yes, including that one and this one over here, where we got Rascal Jesters versus V3. And, wow, I thought the last one was pretty rough. This is also pretty rough here, too. What is with these two series back to back with purgatory in it? Like, seriously. So here's the thing. The things that I like about the series here are limited. There are moments and glimpses of brilliance here and there, specifically with V3. So like V3 does some interesting vision play early game and sometimes in mid game, and then everywhere else the both teams are just kind of scattered to the wind. V3 at least has a solid understanding of how their composition works, or the two kinds of compositions they got to play in this series, because they got to do one of them twice and play it almost the exact same way. And V3 at least has some solid wave manipulation. Now here you might be asking, what about Rascal Jesters? Well, just like the logo, they played us for fools. They're how are they the second seed? This is absolute horseradish. All right. Oh, my hair's all disheveled. Ugh. Things that are just kind of all over the place. One, Rascal Jesters when the pick and ban, because I mentioned that the lack of diversity between pick and ban is emblematic of a lack of ability to adapt, and Rascal Jesters explores this perfectly because they can't adapt for shit. Uh, they allow the same core three champions to go through to V3 without ever trying to take them away, remove them, ban them, do anything in any way, shape, or form that allows them to weaken what was the core three they got to pick all three games. Now, granted, the secondary two doesn't necessarily mean that the composition will be exactly the same, but those three champions were the sore problem spot all three games for Rascal Jesters. They didn't know how to play around it, and those three champions, by the way, are Gnar, Jinx, and Braum. And it's hilarious because Cog, the top player for V3, has like a 12 KDA on Gnar, and you're just gonna let him pick it on R1 every time? The second thing about the lack of adaptation is that they opt into a worst kind of composition. Like, they pick the same exact composition style but worse for the third game. So they go second game, they lose, third game pick the same thing, but now we have less engage options and more disengage options, because that's what we needed. Not to remove anything from V3 side that made our lives hard, which is really unfortunate because Rascal Jesters did show at least some promise when playing against Detonation Focus Me, but not enough for me to be convinced that they would beat them again. And clearly, they got second seed off of best of one shenaniganries, because they showed nothing of promise here, other than possibly some okay, decent mid game vision and an understanding of what it takes to set up neutrals, but then do nothing to execute on it ever. They have poor target selection during team fights. They have poor setup for when trying to take up any objectives that are not just the neutral ones. They don't have any wave manipulation in any of these games in any way, shape, or form. Don't play to their win conditions. They poorly execute even the basic of their like engages. And if it wasn't for their mid laner, oh god, the name escapes me. Um, if it wasn't for Recap, they would have probably lost harder, because Recap seriously was lifting And like it wasn't obvious, right? Because he kept playing a very minor role in all three of the games, but it was obvious when you hit like 4-man shockwaves on a regular basis and are always targeting the back line and the targets that are necessary for you to win the fights. I'm like, and there's nothing very special about V3. Like, do I expect them to win? No. V3 versus Detonation Focus Me is just a regular occurrence in the LJL. And it wouldn't surprise me if Detonation Focus Me just kind of flops it and gets reverse swept. But I don't. The analyst in me says Detonation Focus Me is going to win. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Because V3 isn't better. They make some really bizarre choices. Muujin wastes a lot of time just meandering around the jungle or different places, gets caught in the most awkward places. He's not with the core part of a team. He's split pushing for Cog for some reason because that made sense in Game 3. And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that they were just a better team fighting team, like they understand target selection better, and the fact that they had proper wave manipulation, so that they were able to transition any team fight wins to something good. So it wasn't like they win a team fight and waste their times, unlike Rascal Jesters, where they win a team fight, they waste their time. V3 win a team fight, progress the game further, and awesome, great, solid. Enjoyed that. The slight pieces, nonsense purgatory going on. And this just goes back to the theme of the last couple of episodes, right? Because as we reach the the end of a lot of these regions playoff series, you have to think what does the floor look like compared to all of the regions versus the ceiling. And I got a comment saying like I should do a comparison, like a review of all the regions and rank them. And I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to rank them not based off their strongest team, but off their weakest team. Like their objectively weakest team. Or like the floor. And because that's the best gauge of how they're going to adapt in an international scene. And this is the case, right? Like the LJL, like Australia and PCS, have very low floors, and it's very hard to gauge how well they're going to adapt from it, other than possibly they get away with a lot of mistakes that they shouldn't be getting away with. And it doesn't give me much faith in terms of the capabilities of the region in MSI, which is unfortunate because they were on an upward swing for a while of improvement overall, and this isn't it. They have a whole 6 months before Worlds happens, or 6 months? April? They have 4 to 5 months before Worlds happens. Because this isn't it. This is not going to cut it. This is a really shitty best of 3. I don't like purgatories. I don't know what to tell you. Stop repeating drafts. If you're the losing team, make sure you don't get that same draft again. Play something else. Make your enemy team play something else on top of it. Don't try to opt into like, oh yes, let them play the same thing and we will do something different we think could do the thing. No, you lost against it the first time. You're not going to adapt to it very well. Most of the time people don't adapt to beating the same composition twice with something else, because if you were going to beat it, you would do the same thing the first time because that's what you thought would work. And now the enemy team knows you better. I'm going to hope we don't get that in the next series. What's next? Oh, the Korean finals. Oh, likely we're not going to get the same thing this time. Nice. You guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. We're going to go to Damwon Kia versus Gen G. Another World Championship best of 5. Nice. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and then I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.